A very good morning, my dear Silent Rose family. Today being a special day, I wanted to wish all of you a happy feast day of Pentecost. This is the day where it all began. It is the birthday of our Catholic Church. My dear friends, Pentecost is a big reminder for us that at the end of anything, God always triumphs, be it good or bad. If we think about it so many times, like the disciples, we may also have been locked inside an upper room in the dark, dingy place that we thought was our safe place or a comfort zone. But Pentecost reminds us that God is not calling you to stay in your comfort zone. He very much wants you to step outside of it if you are to respond to His call. And that's exactly what happened to the disciples. As Jesus once promised, the Holy Spirit did come. And as long as the disciples were open towards receiving Him and open towards the mission that Jesus had entrusted them, that was the beginning of the Catholic Church. The disciples shed their fear. They went out, they spoke bravely, they spoke in different tongues. What a human tongue cannot do, God's Spirit was able to do through it by touching so many people's hearts. And sometimes that's what God asks of us, to not lean on our own understanding, on our own abilities, rather to keep our hearts open to what the Holy Spirit might inspire us to do, to keep our hearts open to what God might be expecting from you today. And this is the most important message that God wishes to give us as we listen to the gospel readings of today. But as all fairy tales go, the story didn't end on a happy note. The disciples did go out with all the courage and abilities and blessings and strengths that the Holy Spirit had bestowed. And they did their best to fulfill everything that God asked of them. From disciples, they became apostles. And that journey, my friends, was definitely not easy. But this is what God had promised them, that wherever they go, the Holy Spirit will always be with them. And that's why even when the apostles came face to face with death, they were not afraid, because they knew that the Holy Spirit would always guide them, would always be with them and tell them what to do. In the Gospel of Matthew, we hear Jesus say to the disciples themselves that they will be persecuted, they will be scourged in the synagogues, they will be dragged and humiliated in front of the rulers of the Gentiles. But in all those moments, Jesus said, you do not have to worry about what you are to say to them, because the Spirit of my Father, Jesus said, will tell you what you need to speak. And my friends, Pentecost is a reminder of this promise that Jesus makes to us today as well. You do not need to be afraid. The Holy Spirit is a gift that is freely given to you to speak what God asks of you, to do what God asks of you, to glorify God in anything and everything that you set out to do. On that note, dear friends, have a wonderful day, and wishing you all a happy feast of Pentecost on behalf of the Silent Rose team.